Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining and your interest in the Puerto Rico Earth Echo Water Challenge Ambassador Initiative, a pilot program made possible with support from an NAAWE Changemakers grant. My name is Sean Russell, and I'm the Associate Director of Youth Engagement and Partnerships at Earth Echo International. Over the next few minutes, I'll introduce you to the Earth Echo Water Challenge and our Ambassador program, share highlights from our Puerto Rico Ambassador pilot program from this year, and lessons learned from adapting this program so far in light of COVID-19. We'll also connect with two of our amazing Earth Echo Water Challenge ambassadors from Puerto Rico to learn more about their experiences firsthand. Let's dive in. For a bit of background, Earth Echo International is a global nonprofit founded in the belief that youth have the power to change our planet. We were established 15 years ago by Philippe Cousteau in honor of his father, Philippe Sr., and grandfather, the legendary ocean explorer, Jacques Cousteau. Today at Earth Echo, we're honored to build on a legacy that combines environmental education, conservation, storytelling, and adventure, with a specific focus and mission on inspiring young people to act now for a sustainable future. For us, the key word in that mission is now, really understanding that as we build the education programs of the future, it is imperative to recognize that young people can and must have a powerful and meaningful impact and voice in this work today. One of our signature programs at Earth Echo International is the Earth Echo Water Challenge. This global citizen science initiative empowers young people and community members around the world to monitor water quality in their communities, share their findings through our global database at monitorwater.org, and ultimately use this data to inform actions to protect their local watersheds. Participants join over 1.6 million citizen scientist volunteers from 146 countries who have engaged through this program to date. With youth leadership at the core of all of our work at Earth Echo, in 2018, in collaboration with our Youth Leadership Council, we launched the Earth Echo Water Challenge Ambassadors, a new leadership opportunity empowering 20 high school and college-age youth each year to take action and receive support to lead ongoing water quality monitoring and education programs in their local communities. As this program continues to grow, I'm grateful for the support of the NAAWE Changemakers grant, which allowed me to launch a pilot ambassador network in Puerto Rico this year, our first location-based ambassador program. Building on our existing citizen science work in Puerto Rico, including our support for the annual Puerto Rico Water Quality Monitoring Day, this new initiative provided an incredible opportunity to grow our direct youth leadership programs in the region and empower young people to drive the conversation on water monitoring and conservation across the island. This new ambassador initiative kicked off in May of 2020, with applications going out to education and environmental networks across Puerto Rico. Ultimately, 11 high school students from across the island were welcomed into our inaugural class, equipped with Earth Echo Water Challenge test kits, and began their work together through an initial virtual orientation in June. Moving forward, ambassadors continue to connect monthly to receive professional development training on water quality science and community outreach and education, have led community events for World Water Monitoring Day, which we'll talk about in a moment, and are gearing up to grow their work and lead their own watershed restoration project in their local communities. Throughout the experience, they also have the chance to connect with a network of their peers from across the US and around the world. Now, I initially had planned to kick off the ambassadors' work with an in-person training in Puerto Rico. However, due to COVID-19, the program has adapted to maintain its momentum primarily in a virtual environment. With schools not meeting in person and our team based outside of Puerto Rico, support from our on-the-ground partners of the San Juan Bay Estuary Program and other networks in Puerto Rico were critical in recruiting the students for this program. Monthly virtual trainings and the use of a WhatsApp group for online chats have allowed this group of ambassadors to form connections with each other and the rest of our youth leaders from across the US. With all of our programs at Earth Echo shifting virtually this year, our Puerto Rico ambassadors had the chance to join over 390 participants from around the world for our 3-day Earth Echo Youth Leadership Summit, which was hosted virtually in August, and included a focused Water Challenge ambassador training. This training included interactive team building activities to help participants build connections with each other, and a virtual World Water Monitoring Day event planning training, allowing participants to work together to develop primarily virtual plans for their education events they would host in September. Peer-to-peer mentorship from our Youth Leadership Council and the entire ambassador community was critical in helping offer the support and ideas needed to transition this education and outreach work to a virtual environment. Now, let's chat a bit more with two of our Water Challenge ambassadors from Puerto Rico to learn about their experiences and lessons learned thus far. All right, so we are joined here today by two of our incredible Earth Echo Water Challenge ambassadors, Mariana Fernandez and Valentina Flores, to share a little bit more about their experiences in this program. So Valentina, tell us what made you apply to become a Water Challenge ambassador?
Okay, so I used to live in Mexico before I moved to Puerto Rico, and we used to have this, it was a river, and it was super close to my house. It was very random, just in the middle of the city. And it used to be very beautiful before. I used to have pictures of it, but like since I was little, it is super dirty, super, super, super dirty. You can't go near it. The smell always floods the city. And it's honestly such a shame because it's in the middle of the city and it could be something really great for us. So when I got the application, I got to thinking that, wow, we could have avoided this and I can avoid this happening to somewhere else here in Puerto Rico. So that was my main inspiration.
Great, thanks for sharing that personal connection. Mariana, how about you? What made you want to apply for this program?
My main thing for applying was probably having to water test for myself. I've seen what people water test, but I've never done it myself or had the experience to. So this just gave me the chance to go out with my kids and just test pH, test oxygenation. I love that experimentation part of the process, so that made me apply.
Wonderful. And that's been such a fun thing about this entire Water Challenge program for me has always been, anyone can get involved and plug in and take action and become a scientist in their community, which has been really exciting. Valentina, what's been your favorite part of the experience so far? I know we're still kind of early in the program, but what's been your favorite part?
My favorite part has honestly been seeing so many people around the world being involved in this. I love that, saying that out loud, like being connected to so many people around the world. And honestly, the leadership role, because I've always loved leading, but it's never come, I don't know how to explain this, but in this program, it comes naturally, like it's great to have something that's just for leadership.
Well, it definitely shows in all the work that you guys put into this too, but I appreciate that. Mariana, how about you? What's been your favorite part so far?
Well, adding to what Valentina said, I absolutely love the idea of having a project for myself and deciding what to do with it and having the support from Earth Echo. My personal part was recording sunrises. We had planned originally to make a little documentary, so we had to go out in the morning and record sunrises. And the favorite part there was where I actually edit them so we could have the time lapse of the sun, which I didn't think the clouds would move. So that was probably like the best section in the project. And next would be beach cleanup. So I've never done a beach cleanup before yesterday. And the first time I got to do one was to actually organize the events and everything. So that was probably one of my favorite parts of the experience so far.
Awesome. Love those stories. And I'm curious, Mariana, you touched on kind of how you started doing video recordings and things. We've all had to adapt and change our work a little bit from what we planned maybe in the spring due to COVID. And I'm curious how, again, early in the process with our work together, but how have you adapted your work on the Water Challenge and your community in light of COVID-19?
Well, I don't know if it was my turn.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So originally we had planned to make this really big activity and get sponsors. We had everything planned because we were like a month before the activity. And then they put the COVID rules a little bit stricter. So we had to change our plans. And that's when we decided that we would do a documentary. But afterwards, we decided that we were a little bit short on time on editing. We were nearly done recording, but we wouldn't be able to edit it on time. So we decided that since they changed the rules again and the beaches were open, that we could do a beach cleanup. And that was basically what we stuck with and what we ended up with.
Awesome. Great to see the adaptability and flexibility, I think, lessons we've all learned this year. Valentina, how about you? How have you adapted kind of your work and leadership on this program in light of COVID?
Yeah, so my group and I had originally planned to make an assembly in the school, like a big assembly with most of the students and going in person to the classrooms and doing the testing with the little kids and explaining everything to them. And actually our school here in Puerto Rico is right across from the beach. So we had originally planned to take them with us and go to the beach and have like a fun little day and testing. But that was not possible because of the coronavirus and schools being shut down over here. So instead, what we decided to do is I gave presentations online So we had to reach out to individual teachers and their classes, and we had to give them the presentations to them. And then I took a small group of my friends and I took them to the beach to have like a little monitoring little Saturday, and that was really fun. But yeah, I had to adapt my plan several times because the rules here changed, like Mariana said, on and off, on and off. So we had to be very, very aware of that.
No, it definitely should, and it's awesome events in the long run. And I think the persistence and the flexibility from all of you guys was really impressive. Last question I have, Mariana, what is one key lesson you've learned so far through this experience?
Public speaking, probably. On the event, we had to, like, when we were talking about the 30 by 30 initiative, we were talking about Earth Echo, how to use the kits. It was probably my biggest test to today on public speaking, because otherwise it would be oral presentations, and well, you kind of know what you're doing and everybody's sort of talking about the same thing, so it's a lot easier. But this was probably my biggest challenge and lesson.
Well, great, good to hear, and we wouldn't know from your presentation skills. So thanks for sharing. Valentina, what about you? What's a key lesson you've taken away so far?
Okay, so lesson has been honestly how big this entire conservation movement is. Like, I never imagined before Earth Echo that it was so big, including 30 by 30, like Mariana said. Like, I never pictured it so big, so that's the biggest lesson. And a skill, again, leadership. I feel like that's been what's most impacted my life, because I feel like I've used it over and over again in this very short period of time that I've been an ambassador, and I feel myself growing leadership-wise, if that makes sense.
It does, and that's such a, one of our favorite things of this program is the amazing leadership that young people like you bring to the program, and of course that it is connecting people all around the world who are passionate about our shared waterways and water planet. So thank you so much for all that you're doing, and we're so excited to continue this work with you guys.
Thank you.
One of the culminating highlights of our ambassadors' work thus far has been a series of community water monitoring and education events hosted in late September in honor of World Water Monitoring Day on September 18th. By collaborating with fellow ambassadors in Puerto Rico and across the US, and working with local partners and schools in their communities, our ambassador team did an outstanding job conducting a diverse series of events, engaging younger students and their peers in virtual water monitoring programs, taking part in leading coastal cleanups, and activating through live social media conversations to connect their community to critical watershed conservation issues. I look forward to the continued growth of the ambassador program as they use the skills gained thus far to plan a joint watershed conservation program in Puerto Rico, and I'm excited to see how we build on this model moving forward. I'd like to say a special thanks to all of you for watching this presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and be sure to connect with us on earthecho.org and on social media at EarthEcho. I'd like to also say a big thanks to NAAWE and the Changemakers Grant Program, as well as our partners at the San Juan Bay Estuary Program and our incredible ambassadors for making this initiative possible. Thank you.